So we agreed to side with Avernus at least temporarily. I don't know what I'm gonna do, honestly. Most of the time, I ask him to do ethical research, but I'm kind of leaning towards killing him this time. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on if old habits die hard or not.
Very well.
Oh, missed one.
We must act quickly. The demons are clawing on the gates. The veil must be closed.
Oh my god, is that an alluvian behind him? I never fucking noticed that, but I think that's an alluvian.
I will unravel the summoning circles I drew so long ago. Waves of spirits and demons may come through. Dispatch them. I will begin. First, I must summon the magical energies. I feel them. They're coming.
That is definitely an alluvian. Well, now I gotta think on that.
Of course.
I knew we could not lose!
Blood.
Foolish!
Of course. I think we work well together.
This will not end
Of course.
What was done is undone. The price is paid in blood.
Take that! This will not end well for you.
It's over. The veil is strong now. Stronger, at least. I said I'd submit to judgment. And so I shall. Can I be left to experiment in peace? With what time I have left, I will do this. It may take months or years for my research to reach fruition. When it does, I will send for you. Thank you for this, Warden.
You've done it, Warden. Soldier's Peak is safe again. That old geezer Avernus deserves the gallows if you ask me, but people will do queer things to survive. But if he does the proper research, without the sacrifices and blood magic and all, maybe he'll turn up something good. But there was no proof to redeem my family. Well, thanks, Warden. For so long, I was focused on the past, on answers. But I think I would have been better off had I stayed at home. Enough of that, though. I find myself at a loss. You've got a whole fortress now. I suppose I should start plying my trade again. An honour. If you ever want to talk again, I'll be here. And I'll have some of my wares to sell.
Looks like we're done here. A demonic invasion thwarted, a warden base safely rescued. We do good work.
We do good work. Now we gotta find our way out of here.
Spirits, we must be on our guard.
As you say.
All right, let's go!
It will be done. As you say.
Let's get back to camp. Oh, really? I gotta run all the fucking way?
I think I owe you an explanation for what happened earlier.
I would like one, yeah.
You should know that something happened to me at the tower before you came along. Remember my apprentice, Petra? She encountered a demon in the tower. It would have killed her had I not intervened. I saved her life that day, but I did not survive that encounter with the demon. Let me explain fully. I engaged a very powerful demon to rescue Petra. It sapped me of all my energy and will and left me drained. It took everything I had to defeat it. And when I was done, I no longer had the strength to keep my heart beating. I remember my life ebbing away. Everything receded from me. Sound, light. I remember being enveloped in complete, impenetrable darkness. And then I sensed a presence enfolding me and cradling me, whispering quietly to me. The sensation is impossible to describe. I was being held back, firmly but gently, as a mother would a child, eager to slip from her grasp. I felt life and warmth flowing through my veins again. I began to be aware of small sounds and the discomfort of my hip pressing into the cold stone of the tower floor. The Fade contains spirits both benevolent and malicious. The benevolent spirits seldom make themselves known, because they want nothing from mortals, unlike the demons. It was one of these spirits that saved me. Without it, I would be dead. And it has not left me. It is with me, even now, bonded to me. You see, I am supposed to be dead. It is the spirit that is keeping me in this world. And this is not the way of things. Perhaps the spirit did not expect this, but it is weakening gradually. I am living on borrowed time. I do not know. I can feel when the spirit weakens, so I should have fair warning. But come, let us not talk about this. There is time yet.
Actually, I would like to talk more about that.
What's on your mind? I have always had an affinity for the spirits of the Fade. As a child, I never feared my dreams because I knew they were there. I could sense the demons, too, and their presence frightened me. It was the kindly spirits of the Fade that took the fear from me. I've always been able to feel the spirits, even if I never saw them. And as I nurtured my talent in the circle, I became more sensitive. I began to notice every time I was in the Fade, whether it was in a dream or in magical practice, that I was being watched. I suppose they must. It is these benevolent spirits that create our dream worlds in the Fade. Sometimes I would see it, a glowing, nebulous form. Most times I would just feel its presence, gentle and comforting, but somehow alien. I think it is a spirit of faith. They have never been seen before, and perhaps I am wrong. But something tells me I'm not. It always felt like the same entity. This one spirit was curious about me, and was guarding me, for want of a better word.
Spirits of faith are actually used by the Seekers in their tranquility ritual to grant them their special powers, where they temporarily become tranquil and then draw in spirits of faith.
There were times when I was in the Fade that it seemed to stretch forth to shield me, keeping me safe. And I think it gave me strength in my most terrible battles, Ostagar being one of them. I don't know why I was chosen. Perhaps it knew that there was something more that lay in store for me. I like to think that I was given a rare chance, and I'm going to make the best of the time so generously given to me. I will not lie motionless in a bed with coverlets up to my chin, waiting for death to claim me. That is not the death for me. And so I will fight alongside the Grey Warden and help prepare him for the task that is yet before him. So you had better listen to me, because I swear, if I should fall before the end and you don't seem to be doing things properly, I'll get up again to give you a good finger-wagging. You know, I think you'll be all right, even without my help.
You know, normally I find Wynne to be very preachy, but I gotta say, I'm not finding that so much this playthrough, at least not so far. I think Delrenon sees a little bit of a Shawl in her. Like, I think she reminds him of his adopted mother. Let's talk to Shale.
It doesn't have better things to do. I like to think of them as accessories. I suspect that it is an art that was practiced when golems were more, commonplace. My former master collected whatever lore he could find on the subject. He searched far and wide to collect what crystals he could and then added them. It is not an unpleasant sensation. As I understand it, the crystals allow me to alter the flow of magic around me. Wilhelm had hoped to turn me into a battery of mana, something he could tap at will. Not really, although now that I think of it, these attempts may be what caused my disruption. Some of the crystals increase the presence of mana, some absorb or reflect spells. There are various kinds. All I can promise is that should it ever find one of these crystals, I can likely tell it the function and what it would do if added to me. Why not? I don't get to wear clothing and other adornments like the rest of you creatures after all. That answers its question, I assume? Unless it has more.
I do have more if you're willing to talk.
Oh, how interesting. Certainly I remember having a master. My memories of what happened to him are vague. Clever and true. Oh, very well. Let me see what I can recall. My former master enjoyed experimenting upon me. I remember that much. There was tinkering with spells, and then the crystals. He was very eager to alter my function, I think. Bah! I am no mage, and he did not explain himself to me, any more than it would explain itself to a sword. He possessed my control rod, and back then, it would have prevented me from doing anything he did not command me to, no matter how I might have wished to. So what happened? I am unsure. He was experimenting, and then nothing. There was pain. I do not feel it as soft creatures do, so the memory is an odd one. And then he was gone. I was standing where I was, in the village, and I could no longer move. The villagers came, poked and prodded me in fear, and then realized they could neither move me nor destroy me, so they simply left me. And in time I forgot I hadn't stood there all along.
That genuinely sounds terrifying.
In fact, at first I found it more of a relief. For so many years I'd had to leap to that little toadstool's every command. Get this, pick up that, put it down, pick it up again. The gall! At first I'd hoped he'd simply decided to leave me there paralyzed. An acceptable trade-off. After years passed, I simply stopped caring. Possibly. Except that he was not experimenting with the crystals at the time, I think. But my memory is not good. It may be correct. Whatever the mage did seemed to render the control rod useless, for which I should be thankful, yes? And provided it doesn't decide to copy his experiments, not that I would allow it, it is nothing to fear from me. Much. The things that it fights, and it fights things often, that is a different story. Let us get back to the walking and the fighting. My stone is beginning to itch again.
I actually have some crystals for you, Shale.
Ah, I see it found some of the crystals that I told it about. Well done. So, what does it think? They don't make me look any wider, do they? I find I'm already too wide as it is.
Nah, they're pretty.
They are, aren't they? I so adore them. I think it should find some more as soon as possible. I want to glitter from ear to ear, so to speak.
Nice. Okay, now I gotta sell some stuff.
You and your friends are formidable folk, indeed. It's good to have you along on the road. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
And let's give out some gifts. Now finally, I'm gonna level up some people. There we go. So, question is, should I talk a bit more, or should I just head out to the next thing? Let's check in with a couple more people.
You are not quite as callow as I thought. That is unexpected. You're welcome. I caged myself. A weak mind is a deadly foe, as you are no doubt aware. I told you before that I was sent here. I was not sent alone. I came to your lands with 7 of the Beresad, my brothers, to seek answers about the Blight. We made our way across the Ferelden countryside without incident, seeing nothing of the threat we were sent to observe. Until the night we camped by Lake Calenhad. They came from everywhere. The earth beneath our feet, the air above us. Our own shadows harbored the darkspawn. I saw the last of the creatures cut down, too late. I fell. I am told no others survived. I don't know how long I lay on the battlefield among the dead, nor do I know how the farmers found me. I only know that when I woke I was no longer among my brothers, and my sword was gone from my hand. I searched for it, and when that failed I asked my rescuers what had become of it. I killed them, with my bare hands. I did. I knew they didn't have the blade. They had no reason to lie to me. I panicked. Unthinking, I struck them down.
Unthinking is right, damn.
I know I cannot justify what I have done. My honor is forfeit. That sword was made for my hand alone. I have carried it from the day I was set into the Beresad. I was to die wielding it for my people. Even if I could cross Ferelden and Tevinter unarmed and alone to bring my report to the Arishok, I would be slain on sight by the Antam. They would know me as soulless, a deserter. No soldier would cast aside his blade while he drew breath.
So, by soulless, he's of course saying that he would be recognized as Tel Vashov just because he lost his sword, which, I mean, damn.
If I knew where to look, it would be in my hand now. Near Lake Callanhad. Perhaps those words are empty, but thank you all the same.
I must say that traveling with you has opened my eyes to how wrong some are about the Dalish. You are not at all savage, and I've not seen you snatch away women and children without provocation.
Oh my god. Anti-Indigenous and anti-Semitism all in one.
Funny? No. People actually do believe such things of you. If my people were more open to interacting with yours, we could do away with such misperceptions. I know humans and elves do not share a happy history, but peace must be possible. I hear many city folk talk about how wonderful it must be to live simpler lives, close to the earth. They could learn from the Dalish. I'm sorry, I did not mean it like that. I wasn't trying to belittle your culture. I have met very few elves, and those that I have met were pledged to the service of Orlesian nobles. They are serfs. There is no slavery in Orlais.
There is, in fact, a lot of slavery in Orlais.
Elven servants are well compensated for their services. Some of them live richer lives than humans. A well-trained elven servant is highly valued in Orlais. They are nimble and dexterous, and many people find them pleasing to look at. No, I did not mean it that way. Oh, my words were clumsily chosen. I did not mean to offend. I am sorry.
See, I'm gonna take this conversation in good faith, because I think the intention was there, and I do appreciate what the writing is trying to be. It's trying to set up, Liliana learning from her mistakes, and she does. She says something wrong, and she apologizes for it, and she even thanks the warden for correcting her. Comparing this to, say, conversations in Inquisition with Dorian, which are kind of in the same vein, you don't have the opportunity to correct him. You don't have the opportunity to get in the last word, as it were. And he comes off as not learning anything from it. Instead, you are belittled as the player for trying to correct him on slavery. Oh, but have you thought about it this way? Mm-hmm. I just think that this is handled much better in this game. And I think it helps that it really builds to Liliana's character rather than negatively affects her, because, like I said, she grows from it. She becomes an ally to the elves.
I did not realize that. It is so strange how long-held beliefs just seem natural and right. Like there is no other way to feel. Thank you. You have given me a lot to think about.
Yeah, she even gains approval from it. I mean, you're encouraged to correct her, Whereas with Dorian, you're encouraged to see his point of view and say, well, I never thought about it that way. I guess slavery is really a morally gray topic. Oh.
I await your command. At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees. For a time, but one can only remain a child for so long. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. 'Twas encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds.
Like, can we address the fact that Morrigan had a gay awakening here? She was so enchanted by this woman's beauty. She fully admits it.
She was not. Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
You were abused. Like, that's abusive.
And a foolish one. Flemeth was right to break me of my fascination.
No, she
Beauty
wasn't.
and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been. Perhaps, but they were necessary still. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
Very well.
You are wise to invest in the effectiveness of your...
Well,
Yes.
I was planning
Yes.
on doing a Dalish next, but now that we've started Sen's quest to find his sword,
Indeed.
I'm
Yes.
thinking we should go to Orzammar, because I know that's where the quest eventually leads. But we gotta stop at Lake Calnad first. What is this?
You forced our hand!
Now you die!
That was interesting and draining.
You're still glowing.
I called forth the spirit that sustains me, so that it could lend us aid. I did not realize it would take this much out of me. It seemed a good idea at the time, if a little rash. I think it may have weakened the spirit a little. Well, that's certainly conceivable. I suppose I shouldn't be using that particular trick to entertain children at parties. I promise I'll be careful. And thank you. Your concern is touching.
How do we get out of here? Oh, Liliana can level up again. Oh, did I miss her in the first place? I bet she can put on the battle dress now. Yeah.
It will be done.
What's on your mind? It is no trouble.
Yes. It will be done.
Back off! I was here first! Why, you looking to buy one? A Q what? Well, honestly, I don't have any swords. The spot was picked pretty clean when I got here. I got part of a glove the wolves didn't chew too badly, though. I think it was a glove, anyway. I know, don't say it, I got cheated. I knew the guy who was here before me. He sold me this spot. Said he found giants and all kind of crazy valuables. He didn't mention that he'd taken everything but the bones and the dirt already. His name's Ferrin. Squirrely little bastard, if you ask me. Which you didn't, but I said it anyway. He was going to Orzammar, he said. I imagine he's gotten there by now. If you find him, tell him I sent you. It'll scare the piss out of him. Ha!
Alright. Towards Lamar we go.
We will need to fight shortly.
Logain sends his regards. Ha! You know you see true
No! No!
Enough.
Okay. Come on, we can do this. Shit.
I shall do so.
It will be done.
I think there's a Blackstone regular guy here too.
I've never seen an elf down here before.
What business would the mighty Grey Wardens have with a man like me?
Yeah.
Oh? What was this about? I worried this might happen. I hoped it wouldn't be you who came for me. I have no choice. Forgive me, Warden, but I cannot go back with you.
Very well. As you say. Flee while you can!
Of course.
Let's make this quick! The battle is finished.
I'm taking my caravan to Highever, where it's
They think they're isolated now? Merchants won't risk this happening again.
Step right, maker's breath. Oh, beg your pardon, friend. You, startled me a bit. Can what? I'm sorry, I don't know what that...
Where is my sword?
I don't know what you mean, sir. I don't have it, I swear by Andraste's knickers. I sold it on the way here. A dwarf near Redcliffe, Wynne, I think his name was. He's the one who has the sword, I promise you. Said he was a collector.
We'll see.
We shall see indeed.
Thank the Maker, my brother and his family made it out of Lothering. He said that...
You were in the Chantry. You are a priest?
No, I was a lay sister of the Chantry.
Which means...
I lived and worked in the Chantry, but I did not take any vows.
So you dabbled in priesthood then?
Oh no, the lay sisters don't have the same sorts of duties as priests at all.
So you were not a priest, did none of their duties, and took no vows, but you lived among them?
Yes.
You were a house guest of the Chantry?
Sort of.
What can I do for you? This ought to be interesting. Such diction. This man is a true scholar and rhetorician. I am honored to be fired by one such as he. Good day.
Oh, you wish to talk to me? Truly, it's a courtesy for one so well-armed to notice a lowly merchant. Someone has to. Trade with other races can dry up. We surfacers are Orzamar's lifeline. Even if we're denied a caste, the Assembly says we've turned our back on the stone, but they still use the goods we bring. Hypocrites.
That's not right. Someone should do something.
Maybe it'll change by the time my children are grown. Twice a year, I'm confined to a trade stall in the Commons, but I see enough. It's very closed in. My grandfather says I've lost my stone sense. I was born topside. I don't remember having it. Best of luck to you.
I don't think that circus dwarves have lost their stone sense at all. I think they still have it, but they just don't use it because they're above ground. But like, in Dragon Age 2, Varric is able to navigate the deep roads and tell how far they are away from the surface, for example, and despite being born on a surface. Like, what is that if not stone
goods
sense?
are just rotting on their doorstep. I won't just stand here and
Demand
take
an...
this.
You insult all of Ferelden. King Loghain will not...
Vieta, this land is held in trust for the sovereign dwarven kings. I cannot allow entry at this time.
King Loghain demands the allegiance of the Desher, or lords, or whatever you call them in your assembly. I am his appointed messenger.
I don't care if you're the king's wiper. Orzammar will have none but its own until our throne is settled.
Yeah, and I thought he was a regent, not a king.
None more important than mine.
Your business will wait. Orzammar must limit outside influence until the throne is settled. No one gets in.
Who doesn't? If I don't get in, no one should.
Orzammar has no king. Endrin Iduken returned to the stone not 3 weeks ago, sick over the loss of his sons. The Assembly has gone through a dozen votes without agreeing on a successor. If it is not settled soon, we risk a civil war.
There's just civil war everywhere, isn't there?
The Wardens killed King Cailan and nearly doomed Ferelden. They're sworn enemies of King Loghain.
Well, that is the Royal Seal. That means only the Assembly is authorized to address it. Grey Warden, you may pass.
You're letting in a traitor? And a foreigner? In the name of King Loghain, I demand that you execute this stain on the honor of Ferelden.
I demand you shut the fuck up.
You'll hear of this. King Loghain will see you quartered.
You are free to enter Orzammar, Grey Warden. Though I don't know what help you will find.